Hello, wonderful people. All right, today I'm talking about CPTSD. What is it? My journey to discovering, well, self-discovery that I have CPTSD. Right, this is not officially diagnosed. To be honest, I don't want to go to psychologists to talk about it. I do believe in like my spiritual sense. Like I feel like the divine Holy Spirit led me to understand what this is, so I could heal myself and heal others. It doesn't really matter because like if it resonates, it resonates, right? I read this book about CPTSD from Surviving to Thriving by Peter Walker. Um, yeah, I think everything led to that point because when I read the symptoms about emotional flashbacks and a deep inner, like a tyrannical inner voice, I was like, oh, that is that. And limerence, I think it was also part of it, like when obsessive with love, all this stuff. I'm like, oh, that describes me. So, do you know what I mean? So if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck, right? Um, Especially with emotional flashbacks, what I suffered for a very long time was they call like in Ayurveda, I think they're called sanskaras, which is like unprocessed emotions. I'd have like a negative memory and I'd react to it, I'd be like, oh, like fuck, oh, I would feel it. And that's basically what emotional flashback is. Also just feeling of the like feeling abandoned like you were like a child or whatever. Um, and I feel it's a more pervasive problem than we give it credit for. So I want to give more awareness to it anyway. Because if you're going to heal one person, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it. Right. So basically, with complex PTSD, it's like your nervous system was stuck in fight or flight. Right. You don't really feel safe inside your body. Um, of course, it's not like for me, it wasn't like all the time, but like most of the time, reacting to triggers very easily, and what it can be stemmed from. So for me, it was emotional neglect, which it was kind of a hard discovery to understand, because um, like I've told you, I'm first generation American, like Polish American. I was born to two Polish parents, and I know they did their best to provide for me, like physically, but my emotional needs were not met. And it's hard, because like, especially us that were emotionally neglected, and the stories I've told, it's hard because like I understand my parents really they did their best with the information they had, but the symptoms are there. I suffered with this inner tyrannical voice for like most of my life, right? And it sucked. And I never questioned where did it come from until recently because I removed the blocks of love towards myself and I saw, ooh, we have this core wound. All right. Um, Emotional neglect. So especially as men, we're told not to feel our feelings. Boys don't cry. I'm still in the generation. I remember, um, it's like when I was a young kid. Sometimes my parents would drop us off to my uh, in Polish we say babcia cioteczna. So like my my grandma's sister. Okay, my grandma's sisters. And I remember crying for whatever reason. She's like, "Oh, boys don't cry. Boys don't cry." I really internalized it, right? And I have a lot of memories about if I would ever come to my parents of like feeling sad or crying and be like, "Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. You're too sensitive. You're too sensitive." A lot of this stuff. Um, to be honest, guys, I never remember being soothed, like soothed for my emotions. Like it's like, shh, it's okay, go here. Shh, shh, shh. I don't remember it. I don't remember it. If it happened, I have no memories of ever being soothed. And so I learned at a young age that like my emotions are just gonna run rampant, control my body, and you just gotta deal with it. There's also like enmeshment, which is a big one. It's a new word. All these like psychological terms. So okay, I'm not a psychologist, but I'm very interested in the structures of the mind and also myself. Like what was causing the suffering. Enmeshment. So enmeshment is like the feeling of your parents, right? You have to feel the feelings of your parents. Um, Actually, I'm not giving it justice, but it's basically like you're responsible for your parents' emotions, basically. Um, and it's emotional slavery, right? I told this story before. I'll tell it again. Like when we were 10 years old, and Mama wanted to play pickup sticks of us, my brother and I, Zadkiel, and then we're like, oh, we don't want to play it, and she's like, she got really upset, crying, like, oh, you, and we're like, and we started crying too. We're like, oh, we'll do it, Mama, we'll do it. It's like, no, you ruined it. That kind of stuff. I'm not doing it justice, but basically, like always feeling responsible, walking on eggshells, being hyper vigilant over, not setting my parents off because both of them were very angry individuals, unfortunately, right? Because they probably had their own trauma to deal with. Yeah, yeah. I mean, just remember being yelled at a lot of like over small stuff that I felt like was never, um, I would say never really justified. I don't remember being like a, no, I was really a very good kid, polite, um, like well behaved, probably because of fear. But I don't remember doing anything like exceptionally like that was warranted for that vitriol, that very anger outburst. Um, yeah, and so like with CPTSD, he said in the book it can happen from emotional neglect. Mm, Okay. Um, Emotional neglect can happen through when both of your parents are sorry, like CPTSD can happen when both of your parents are emotionally neglectful, right? I think this is something that's not talked about a lot. Well, all the problems I had with this insecure attachment style, this tyrannical inner voice, like limerence, all this stuff. Well, where does it happen from? It comes from childhood, right? It's not blaming anybody. It's just about understanding what happened to me. Especially, I think emotional neglect is not really talked about, right? But the thing is, like with a kid, a kid needs the love and support of his parents, right? He needs the unconditional love. It's like because think about it, if you weren't if you felt like you weren't supported as a kid, like in the historic ages, right? Like when animal can pounce and kill you, right? It's the same thing. Like we children need emotional love. They need love. They need it. It's not a want. It's a need, right? Um, I had like yeah. Um, I had already talked about a few memories, right? Um, Also, I don't know about you guys, but like, were you forced to do a lot of stuff that you just didn't want to do? I'm talking about like your free time, right? I was forced to do karate, forced to play basketball. This is the thing. I mean, it's just bizarre, and I'm never gonna be a parent. And their excuse was like, oh, what do you want? You want to be a couch potato? Like, I wanted, there's like when they actually asked me, like, hey, Kakir, what do you want to do? When I was like in middle school, and I said, oh, I could try fencing. I fucking did fencing. It was that so hard to ask. Like, I don't know, like, it just, like I felt like I was forced to do a lot of, like, we were forced to do karate, basketball. It was like they didn't even ask us for permission. Like, hey, or like, what do you want to do? What do you want? What does little Kahir want to do? How do you want to spend your time? Right? It's like, no, you're doing it because we said so. We said so. I ain't a psychologist, but I don't think that's good for the mind. And it was also counterintuitive because, like, with especially with basketball, I think they signed us up because we were getting chubby back then. Pretty sure. Yeah. And there we had to do like it was really hard exercise. It was like they called it suicides. You had to like run from the field, like end of the basketball court to the middle, go back. It was like back and forth. It was really hard. Um, and I hated it because it's called suicides, man. And I started equating exercise with suffering, right? And now, in the best shape of my life, I love to exercise. I love lifting weights. I love walking on my treadmill. I do VR boxing. I exercise the way I want to exercise. I just thought exercise was something that you hate doing. I know it resonates somewhere, right? There's a million ways to exercise, right? It doesn't have to be something you don't want to do. If you want to play basketball, play basketball. But we didn't want to play basketball. Right? I understand, like, oh, like, let your kid like try new things, but like, if your kid tries it and doesn't like it, let him not do it, right? Let him find what he wants to do. I told you this whole like like marching band thing. Like I just thought like, oh, you start something, you finish it, you do it, even if you don't like it. There's a super unhealthy belief, super unhealthy. Um, Also, what I wrote, summer camp. Yeah. Um, so the emotionally immature parents. Like there's something in the book like even mild disagreements can set them off. I remember because we were also forced to do summer camp, which I understand. Like your parents want to send the kids to summer camp, whatever. But um, I remember saying like, oh, I didn't like it. I didn't feel like I fit in. I didn't really like that summer camp. And then she's like, well, when you have your own kids, then you will see, and they're being like couch potatoes, then we'll see what you'll fucking do. Okay, she did swear, but you know what I mean? I'm just like, hey, I'm just saying I didn't like it, man. Am I not like entitled to my opinion, my wants, my needs? This is a saying. It was not. I didn't feel safe expressing my wants or my needs, and that fucking sucks. That sucks, man. You're under my roof. When you have your own children, your own house, you'll decide. You know, like I understand. I understand. Like I was a child, and but still, it's like, what beliefs are you instilling in your kid, man? Um, and so I had this like learned helplessness. Like I honestly, guys, and this is the thing of CPTSD. I just learned, suck it up. Let other people tell you what to do. I really lack self agency, and the worst is if I hesitated when I had like a decision to make, they'll yell at me like, "Why aren't you making a decision?" I don't have a specific example, but actually, okay, I remember. Um, this was like actually we're uh, I think 18 or 19. I don't remember exactly, but we're at the airport, and the lady's like, "Oh, like provide your identification, identification," and I was like, "Oh, can our like I don't know what can we like his driver's license, passport?" And my dad took their passport. He's like, "This is your fucking identification." Like seriously, you know, that's how you're gonna talk to your son? Like what? Because I was hesitating. I was hesitating. I didn't know what it. This is the thing. I was so afraid of making mistakes. So afraid of making mistakes because I would get comments like that. Fucking sucks, man. It sucks. I And I'm not trying to, I'm sure maybe you had it worse or whatever, but I'm just saying it's not right, man. The thing about discovering is like I was not spoken the way I wanted to be spoken to. Right? Golden rule: treat others the way you want to be treated. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Right? And I was not treated the way I wanted to be treated. No, with respect, with kindness, with dignity. Even like, well, so what? I was hesitating. I wasn't sure. Is that a problem? um yeah, and all this, like I developed a like intense negative critic, very sick tyrannical voice. I don't even really want to get into it, but like crazy, and I was like, where I never questioned where did it come from until like I started looking into like like my parent, like my childhood, and then I saw like, oh my gosh, so something went wrong here. Not to villainize them, I understand, but to say I didn't have a tyrannical voice, I didn't abandon myself would be a disservice. I abandoned myself all the time. I hated myself. I loved myself because of this inner critic. And I identified it in the critic. I thought that's all my inner voice was, right? Until I found the Course in Miracles where it worked on my thought system to find a more loving voice, right? And there's the videos for you, right? To question where did the tyrannical voice came from, right? Because this is the thing. Because I used to justify it. I'm like, oh, if I don't have this inner voice, I won't be productive. Bullshit. I'm 10 times more productive because I listen to the voice of love. 10 times because I have the energy of God within me. I do, right? Because the voice of love, he wants to move you. He wants to move you, right? And this is a fear-based belief, like, oh, I need to berate myself. I need to whip myself. Like, come on, right? And it's all about like reparenting. I had a video about reparenting the self, right? Like no matter what happened to you, no matter what your parents did, right? And created this wound, you could always repair it yourself. Okay, and remember, atonement is I need do nothing, right? Surrendering, right? Because all these teachers, all these books, the help I received on my journey, I believe it was all divinely orchestrated, divinely timed when I was ready, right? Because it's a hard nut to crack, hard pill to swallow, that being emotionally neglected as a child. I need to speak up for my truth because I know how many of my brothers and my sisters have suffered in silence, right? That you weren't spoken the way you wanted to be spoken to. You tolerated so much bullshit, but you don't have to do it anymore. Healing is out there. It could be for a Course in Miracles, whatever resonates with you, right? But listen to the voice of love, not the voice of fear. And it's okay to get help. It's okay to get help, and that's something I had to really work on. Because I remember when I wanted to get hypnotherapy, because I felt like I thought maybe something subconsciously was causing the sanskars and all that. Mama visited us. I told her, I was like, hey, I'm going to hypnotherapy. And she's like, what? What? And she looked at me. It's like, looked at me as if I was fucking crazy. Hypnotherapy? What are you talking about? There's nothing wrong with you. Like, what are you? This is generation, right? They'd rather suffer, look at their toxic, like have toxic behavior, coping mechanisms, and not heal it. But we have an abundance of help now, abundance of resources, information out there, and people willing to help you. People willing to help you. Right? For me, it was also Healthy Gamer. Right? Having like a group therapy, having like, two other people with me dealing with similar issues that I am, saying like, you're not alone. And this is also what the videos are. You're not alone. If you have this tyrannical voice, if you're suffering with toxic shame, you're not alone. And the help is out there. Help is out there. It takes a little willingness. Get yourself some help, whatever resonates with you. For me, also like a deep spiritual practice, Course in Miracles, and also Abraham Hicks Bashar, all that. It's wonderful stuff. Whatever resonates with you, right? And just remember, the Holy Spirit never abandons us, right? As this wound from childhood that we feel like we are abandoned, right? Maybe we were in the physical, but in the spiritual realm, we were never abandoned, right? Love can never abandon us because we are made of love. We are as perfect as God created us, right? I love you so much. Please get the help if you need it, all right? May the Holy Spirit light up your path wherever it takes you. All right, take care.